Hey everybody, welcome to 2019. I hope you're excited to come back to school. I'm excited to have you in my classroom. This video is for parents and students. Just wanted to go over a couple of syllabus items that will be important for this upcoming semester. I'm going to get rid of my face here for a little bit. So the syllabus, I'm going to be sending this out as a direct link to a PDF, so you have access to that. Nothing's really changed as far as the beginning things that are on this list. The course requirements are still there. Bring your computer, make sure it's charged. If you need to charge it in class, not that big of a deal. Grades are the same, 10-point grading scale, no rounding in the English department. That's all the same. What's a little bit different is how we are going to calculate our grades. This quarter and fourth quarter, we are going to have weighted assignments. So we're going to have three categories: literature, writing, and grammar. Literature is going to be anything that deals with the novels or study sync or common lit types of material. It's all going to go inside of that literature category. That is going to include our fishbowl conversations that are being used as summaries of the literature material. So we will continue with fishbowls. I'll talk about that in a couple minutes. Writing, we are going to use the no red ink writing, the peer editing thing again, just like we ended first semester with. We're going to use that more frequently. Those kinds of writings from no red ink are going to go into the writing thing. Your final papers will go in there. Anything that's a part of a writing process, including fishbowl conversations, whenever we are doing some peer editing in kind of a public format, that's going to go underneath the writing category. And then grammar is pretty much going to be taken care of with all of the no red ink assignments. So there it is. For those of you that like charts, it's going to be in this category. So 80% of our grade is still going to be the quarter three and quarter four grades. The other 20% is going to be from the final exam, and then that's going to be the total of the 100% category. Okay, so the 80% is going to be made up of that literature, writing, and grammar material. Okay, so one thing that I'm working on for quarter three and quarter four, in addition to my focus things for myself. Remember, I'm doing the national board certification process, and that's a constant evaluation of what can I do better as a teacher. Third quarter, it's going to be about this no late submission. Sorry about that. No late submission. So that's my target, my focus item. So whenever there is a deadline that's posted for an assignment, that's it. I'm not going to accept late work. Not going to let people pull my heartstrings and all that kind of stuff, and allow for those late works to be submitted. So students and parents, be aware of that. Make sure that you are checking. I am going to give you the link for my lesson plan document again. Remember, I shared that with you several times last year. I even put it on a couple of these videos during second quarter. So you know that it exists. I'm still going to use that. You'll have access to it. On there will also be the deadlines in addition to the calendar and Google Classroom, and then the individual, like the Common Lit and Study Sync, they all have their own deadlines listed in there too. So just be aware of what's going on. Know that I'm not accepting late work, and take that as a reality of the class. Okay, moving on. Classroom expectations are still going to be the same. There's really not a whole lot of difference in any of these points of emphasis. We're going to be using the Google Calendar, electronic devices. That was my focus item for quarter two. I'm going to continue to push myself to make sure that electronic devices, if they are in the room, they are only being used for academic purposes. If they are not, then I will take them straight down to the main office and let Mr. Roth or Mr. Braden or Ms. Wolfel take care of that issue down in the office. But electronic devices, no cell phones in the classroom. If I see them, I will take them and deliver them to the office. Attendance and tardies, that's being remember, that's being looked at for all of our early release lunch. That's going to continue. So make sure that if your child and student, if you want to have that early release for lunch, that you are here when you're supposed to be, and you're not having tardies or the behavior issues or those things that they're looking at. So let's continue with the good work there. Communication tools. I will continue to use the Skyward Messaging Center just like I am right now. I will post links whenever I make these kinds of videos. I'll post links to different documents in there, and I'll send out messages to the general population of my students and parents. It's a quick way to get information out to everybody. I will try to be as clear and concise as possible when necessary. I will try to use it probably about once a week. Second quarter, I started using it on the weekends, recording videos of what's going to happen for the upcoming week. And that way everybody knew what was going to happen for the upcoming week, so parents could help with the accountability process. Number two, I'm going to be using the Google Classroom. That's still a possibility. There's going to be lots of links posted there. Assignments are submitted through Google Classroom quite frequently. There's a class webpage, which holds some of the permanent information. There's a class calendar. That class calendar is basically a Google calendar that will be linked and synced with a lot of the assignments that we do. Symbaloo page, that's basically a favorites list. If we have additional resources that we need for class, we can use that Symbaloo. And GroupMe, students, if you are not on GroupMe, I don't know what to tell you at this point. I use it a lot. Sometimes I get into that social media mode and I'm going to scale back a little bit and not be so goofy sometimes, but sometimes I just did that to lighten things up. But I do try to stay away from the social media side of GroupMe and try not to treat it that way. I'm not going to treat it like Snapchat or Instagram or Facebook or any of that other garbage. It's really just to be out there as a way to communicate information to you so that you know what's going on and just to remind you of expectations. Teaching strategies are still going to be the same. There are times whenever I need to lecture and I need to have the attention of the whole class. There's going to be a lot of time where it's going to be individual work, especially once we get into our novels and get into our writings and those kinds of things. You're going to have the time in class to do the work that you need. And then the small group, you guys can help each other out as frequently as possible. A lot of times we do that with no red ink or even some of the writing process moments. Fishbowls are going to continue. Like I said a while ago, fishbowls, there are very specific things that I look for, listen for. There's a rubric that I have posted, and I can just sit here and click what I need to click. Fishbowls are going to consist of both literature components, which is basically all of your summaries and talking about the text that we're reading. And we're going to move into some of our writing components too. That's where we get into some of the controversial issues that people like to talk about. It's more of kind of a debate format where we can bounce ideas off of each other and learn how to communicate effectively. Even in environments where we may not agree with what somebody else is saying, there are ways to respond, not necessarily react, but respond to them and have good communication back and forth. So we're gonna use fishbowls. That's just a part of the class. That's what we're going to be doing. Course content, most of our material is going to be through the StudySync material. That's the ConnectEd, or McGraw-Hill is the publishing company that uses that. We're also going to be using school board approved novels and no red ink. That's consistent with what we did last year. And then occasionally, number two here, we'll be using ConnectEd. Nope, I said that wrong. We're going to be using Common Lit, which is another resource that has a lot of literature and supporting materials inside there. Okay, so parents, students, at this point, I am not going to make you take these home and get them signed. If you do see that this is being sent home as a signed document and a requirement, then you know that something's going on in class and I need a little additional accountability. But at this point, from day one, which is basically January 3rd, 2019, I am not going to assign this as an assignment that I need to have your signatures back. It is posted in several different places, and I will post those links also in the Skyward message that I'm about to send out. All right, so welcome to 2019. I'm excited to have you guys back and look forward to what we can do during this semester. Again, let's have a great year, and let's just keep doing the great things that we're doing. I'll talk to you later.